And despite the COVID crisis, I can assure you that AJ and his team have not taken the foot off the accelerator. We've continued to engage with the community and made sure that they understand they are not forgotten. They are part of this whole plan of getting them back up on their feet as we move from immediate relief in getting them some dignity and respect now to a longer-term recovery. And we've always said we wanted this to be locally led, not Canberra-led. And we want to build back better. And the best people to make that determination are those that have been impacted themselves. So the centrepiece of what we're announcing today is nearly $450 million around local economic recovery plans. We're empowering those communities to tell us how they need to rebuild, what will get them back up on their feet, what will build their communities, their lives better. And we'll empower them to make that determination, and that'll be different in each community. You don't want a cookie-cutter approach. You want to empower those people to make those determinations, allow them to get to that point of telling their government exactly what recovery looks like and what resilience into the future looks like. So we'll continue now to work with state governments to make sure that those local economic recovery plans are rolled out in a calm, methodical way that listens to the community and understands the community's needs. That's the most important thing that we can do, and I think there'll be great learnings for future disasters in how we roll this out. This is the first time a government's undertaken that, and that's an important aspect. Another significant contribution out of this fund is nearly $150 million towards rehabilitating habitat. Our first $50 million was about looking after the species that were endangered and threatened by this fire. We're now rebuilding their habitat. Nearly $150 million to go into building that environment for them to recover along with the communities that support them. So that's an important aspect of this plan in understanding that, in fact, the environment plays a significant role in our tourism sector in a lot of these parts of the world, and it's important that we make that investment because the flow-on benefits economically are just as great as those that we are making environmentally. We've also understood the significant impact that the forestry industry has copped through this. So there's $15 million to partner with our state colleagues in helping pay for some of the freight costs and salvaging some of the timber that's out there to keep that industry up and going and to protect the jobs that are there. There'll be more work that's required, particularly in the forestry industry. It's not a commodity where you can plant a crop and you get to sow it you get to harvest it in 12 months. It takes time, and we've got to work continually through with that industry to make sure that recovery is looked at strategically, and we'll work with the states on that. Another significant piece is over $27 million in telecommunications, and one of the real gaps that we found during this crisis was at points our telecommunication systems didn't support the need during a crisis. And so we're working with telcos around more mobile phone towers, but also satellite dishes and putting in new batteries to build back that infrastructure better, understanding what we need to do to protect the lives of Australians in future disasters. And that's an important aspect that we've learnt from this, and we'll continue to work with the telcos. But one of the most important aspects to this plan, while not the greatest amount, is the $13 million that we're putting into mental health. There is a fragility out there, and there is Australians that are healing at different stages, and we've seen the convergence of drought and fire, COVID-19, and there is a lot bearing down on these people. And we need to understand they are all at different stages of that healing process. And so we are empowering the local primary health networks to tailor mental health programs for their communities, not that are tailored out of Canberra or out of Melbourne or Sydney, but out of the local communities, because each will have specific needs. So it's important we listen and understand, and they understand those people, that the Australian government will stand shoulder to shoulder with them, and there is no stigma in asking for help, because that help will be there. It'll be there for you right now and into the future, because if we can repair your lives, then we will repair our nation quicker from this. You are a significant contributor to our economy, and we're going to look after you.